We believe you can be a millionaire in all 6 aspects of health. Those aspects are physical, financial, mental, spiritual, social, and intellectual. Today, we're going to focus on your physical health, and our topic is sleep. Are you getting enough? Are you doing it right? What's going on with sleep? If you got any problems, we're going to have some tips for you here. Millionaires Are Made is the show built on the fundamental belief that every person you meet knows something that you don't, and there's something to be learned from everyone. So we've brought 3 awesome guests here that maybe you don't know, but they're going to tell you a little bit of helpful advice for you. And then if you decide to, you can follow them and get to know them a little better. In the spirit of authenticity, we want to keep this as real as possible. This isn't just 3 people that agree with me and share the same tip in different forms. I actually have never met or learned anything about our guests until about 15 minutes before the show when we go over the show structure. And we kind of go over our tips to make sure they aren't all the exact same thing. So these people all have their own thoughts, theories, whatever tips, and there's no bias or any persuasion from me or my team. We like it that way. This episode is officially sponsored by InstaFarm, where you can grow, automate, and use AI all your vegetables in your house with no task other than just filling the water up. Literally, it's dummy proof. Awesome product. Hit us up if you're interested in that. Go check out instafarm.ag. Guests, you have something that you need to share. I know it. I know you know something. Come online, come share it with us. We need more guests. Please sign up at www.millionairesaremade.com. It's in the comments right there. Sign up, get your voice out, tell us a little something, and help teach the world about everything. That also goes for topics. If there's something you're curious about that you want to learn a little more about, let us know. We can throw a topic for anything, and we will do all the hard work, find the guests, find the experts, and learn a little bit about stuff with you. If you like what we do, please share, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff that lets us keep this show going, because we would love to keep bringing guests on and teaching and sharing knowledge with the whole world. But we can't do that without, the social media requirements of likes, comments, shares, and all that stuff. So please help us out. If you like our show and our episodes, be sure to subscribe to all that stuff. Without further ado, sleep. So my tip today is going to be something very interesting I've learned recently. I've never been a big coffee drinker till I moved to this island, and I had a coffee shop. I guess that helped too. So owning a coffee shop, having coffee right there was pretty insane. I probably drank more coffee than I liked, and I still don't even really like coffee. But it affects a lot of things with your sleep. Even if you drink 1 cup at 6 a.m., caffeine specifically blocks your neurotransmitters that make you feel tired. That's how you stay more awake. But that's not that good for your body or sleep. So if you're having trouble sleeping, you're tossing and turning, you're not getting 7 or 8 hours, maybe you got to think about your caffeine intake. The entire purpose of caffeine is to block your tiredness receptors. Think about that chemically. And that's my tip for the day, but let's hear some more. So we're going to pull out Paul. Hey, Paul, how you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for having me today.
Amazing. I like hearing that. Paul, who are you?
My name is Paul Leviton. I am a podcast host myself and a public speaker. I host a podcast called Happy, Healthy Human that helps people become the happiest, healthiest version of themselves. And I spent over 10 years in the fitness and nutrition world as a personal trainer, nutrition coach, before leaving and getting into the personal development world as a board licensed health and wellness coach and a self-confidence coach. And that's where I live now.
Damn. All right. Self-confidence, happiness, healthiness, all the good stuff. That might have something to do with sleep. Let me ask you, if I was to improve my physical health with sleep, what tiny piece of advice would you give me, Paul?
I would say to keep your phone out of your arm's reach when you go to sleep, ideally plugged in on the other side of the room or even outside of the room that you sleep in completely.
Can you tell us why?
Well, yeah, a lot of people will hear about like blue light and the light that screens make, whether it's your phone, your laptop, whatever. But I think it's more just about habits. So something that I study and I talk about a lot in my podcast and my coaching is about habits. And when your phone is close to you within arm's reach, your initial habit is going to be to grab it and touch it. So when most people go to sleep with their phone plugged in right next to their nightstand, usually the last thing they do before they go to bed is going to be touch their phone. And the first thing that they do when they wake up is going to be touch their phone. And when we touch our phones, I know, at least for me, probably most people will agree that what you tend to do is scroll. You open YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or any of these apps that are made to suck your attention and keep you on them. So at 10 o'clock at night, when you're like, okay, if I go to bed now, I'll get 8 hours. Then all of a sudden, right before you put your phone down, you open up TikTok, you end up scrolling for 45 minutes, and then boom, you're that 8 hours of sleep is now less than. Add on top of it again the blue light that makes you sleep not as well. So by keeping it on the other side of the room, or again in a completely different room, you break that habit and you make it so that it's impossible for you to have it right before bed, which means that you'll get to bed quicker. And it makes it so that you can't get straight into scrolling the first thing when you wake up, which makes you more likely to do something like move your body, meditate, drink a glass of water, or any of the other positive things that we know to be. So this book ends your nights, beginning and end, with positive habits.
Man, you need to watch our last episode. We just went over screen time with mental health, social media. A lot of it relate around laying your bed, you're putting your phone away, and we had a spending coach. There's like most purchases on Facebook are actually while you're laying in bed. Super interesting. All right, Paul, tell us about your journey. Where did you learn this advice? How did you learn it? What made you want to learn it?
Well, as I kind of said in my introduction, I started in fitness and nutrition, and then I got into habits and overall wellness because I started to be interested in human behavior in general. Like, why are we the way that we are? Why do we do the things that we do? And sleep is a part of that. A lot of people, you might hear the common thing where it's like, well, exercise, it's easy. It's diet that's hard. But what I found in my experience is like exercise and diet are both easier than sleep. Sleep is actually the hardest thing we do because most people get so little sleep and are bad at sleep. And there's so many things that distract us. It's easy to think like, well, the one place that I can get more time back, because we all need more time in the day, but days don't come with more than 24 hours, is to just get less sleep. But science has shown us that that's the worst thing that we can do. And optimal sleep will optimize everything else in our lives. So I look at this from, again, a habit perspective of I want my small habits to make everything in life easier. So if I set myself up for success, I don't have to worry about like getting the best sleep if I, again, don't allow myself to be distracted by my phone in the hour leading up to my sleep. I don't have to worry about getting off to a better start in the morning if I know that that night I got to bed early because I wasn't on my phone. And in the morning, I'm not going to get right onto my phone. And the habits that I actually want to build, again, like exercise, like journaling, like meditating, whatever the positive things that are going to move me forward are going to easier slide into place because I'm not distracting myself. So through studying habits and learning the importance of sleep, it just became the natural conclusion for me.
Wow, I love it. That's awesome. Anything else you want to add to your tip? You got about 30 more seconds if you want to tell us some more knowledge.
Just that, yeah, just that sleep is important. Again, it can't be overstated, but if you're someone who's not getting that much sleep, don't overthink it. If you're getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep, don't try to go for 8 hours. Going back to habits are easy. If you're getting 5 hours of sleep a night, go to 5.5. Then do that for a while, then go to 6, then go to 6.5. Don't try, because if you try to jump to 8 hours of sleep when you're sleeping right now from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. and getting 4 hours, you're not going to do it. And it's going to be frustrating.
That's a great point. Yeah, little baby steps. Great point. Awesome. Thanks so much, Paul. Limit that screen time and you might sleep better. We're going to move on to our next guest here. We've got Edward. Edward, how you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, Edward. Who are you?
So my name is Edward White. I usually go by Ed. I'm a certified personal trainer and online fitness coach.
Very cool.
Pretty new to it still. I got certified back in April. I'm also a certified nutritionist. So,
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. So you got nutrition and physical training, inside and outside. All right. Well, maybe you have a little piece of advice. If I wanted to improve my physical health with sleep, what simple tip would you give me?
I would say to stay away from alcohol. Um,
Mm.
yes. I would say, in my honest opinion, just stay away from alcohol totally. Like, don't drink at all. But if you have to, stay away from alcohol in the night hours. And I know that's pretty hard for most people that actually drink, because that's usually the time that social drinkers usually go and have their couple drinks with friends or whatnot.
Mhm.
But honestly, if you're someone like me that had a problem, it can actually really affect your sleep to the point to where it'll knock you out, and you might get the sensation that you're having a deep sleep, but when you wake up, it's like as if you didn't sleep at all.
That's very true. Yeah, there's a lot of evidence and research about alcohol and sleep and really how bad it is. And it is funny that everyone wants to sleep at night or drink at night. Sorry, but yeah, well, you know what? It sounds like you have kind of an interesting past. Tell us about your journey. Learned about this.
Yeah, so I was alcoholic for about 13 years, and I
Now
uh,
you're sober.
I ended up, yeah, I'll be sober 4 years on the 25th of this month.
Congrats, man. That's huge. 4 years.
Yes, thank you. So I made the conscious decision myself to quit almost 4 years ago, and I just started making different choices. I changed the way I thought, started doing things differently that led to different actions and to my actual career path that I'm on today with training and online coaching.
Probably wouldn't be here with alcohol still, would you?
Absolutely not.
So on that note, I'm going to talk about a book that when I went sober, actually I read it years before I went sober, but reread it again. And it specifically, I'm linking it right now. Yeah, it's all about the science behind alcohol and how it affects everything. And it does talk about sleep and the circadian rhythm that gets kind of messed up with alcohol and how it essentially changed it. Especially when, I mean, obviously, if you're heavy drinking out till 2 a.m., you're not going to get good sleep that next night. But overall, it can even just one drink, even like 4 drinks, 5 drinks a week can affect your circadian rhythm over the course of your lifetime. So congrats on being sober. That's awesome. Yeah, good for you, Edward.
Yeah.
Any last little bits of info before we move on to the next guest?
Yeah, sort of just general advice. If you're someone out there that's wanting to change, really think about changing your identity first, and then think about the version of you that you have to become to actually start developing those new habits, and then go do them.
Do you listen to Tony Robbins?
No.
Oh man, I think he just had an interview that I saw like a week ago. You should Tony Robbins. I'll just put his name on the chat. He just talked about how to become different. Exactly what you literally just said. His words. So you should be a public speaker now. But he said it's all about identity. You know, you identify as a drinker, and then once a lot of people go back as they identify still as a drinker. Once you identify as a sober person or identify as a non-drinker, that's when you can actually make that mental shift over as well. It's crazy how the world works. Literally, I think he just had an interview like it might have been like 2 days ago. I heard him say that, and now you're here saying it to my face.
Yeah, I mean, you can't change without changing the way you think. Like that, the
Yep.
version of you that's like in that thought process of what you're currently doing, you cannot stay there to be able to get better.
That's super true. Super true. Edward, thank you so much. We're going to move on and put you backstage. We'll move on to Spencer here. He's already practicing his smile. I can see him backstage.
You know it.
What's up, Spencer?
Hey, how are you doing?
There's that smile. Hey, Spencer, who are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm Spencer Jones, the Prince of Positivity, and I just
Oh,
love helping people step into their light and shine bright, brother.
man, I like that intro. The Prince of Positivity, step into the light. All right. Hey, Spencer, if I wanted to improve my physical health with sleep, what simple tip would you give me?
Super simple. In the morning, go outside, look at the sunrise, take it in, and savor it. It is truly a game changer when you are trying to change your sleep.
I live in a place where I get to see the sunrise every day over that little mountain.
Oh, beautiful. Such a gorgeous thing. And you're one of the lucky few of the 6 billion people in the world that get a view like that. Like, savor it and enjoy it.
Awesome. So I guess where on your life journey did you learn that? What made you enjoy that sunrise to help your sleep?
Well, I'll start with a little story. Back when I was in college, I was a music education major. I had to practice piano all the time, right? To get better at my skills so I could play in front of students I'll just play better music. And so I said, okay, well, people do 4 hours of sleep. You know, I'll do that. I'll get 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and I have more time to practice, and I get more time in the practice room, improve my skill. No problem. So I did that one day. No worries. Tired. You know, coffee was good, helpful. I did it a second day. All right. Third day of 6 hours less of sleep. It was like 4 to 5. I got sick. I'm like, okay, this sucks. I'm like, all right, well, let me rest up and get some extra sleep now to make sure I'm healed up. So then 2 weeks later, I was feeling better. I was good for a couple of days. I'm like, all right, back at it, right? Trying to train myself to get 4 to 5 hours of sleep because these people who seem successful do it. So I 4 to 5 hours of sleep. First day, no problem. Second day, okay, feeling pretty tired, but no problem. Third day, sick again. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? And I realized for me, it was because I was intentionally, the only thing that changed was the amount of sleep. It's because I was getting under 6 or less hours of sleep, right? Your last guest talked about alcohol being affecting you. If you get less than 6 hours of sleep, for every hour less than that, it's like you had a beer all day long, right? And so how I learned it is through that journey of figuring out, well, how can I be at my best so I could be at my best, shine my light for my students, right? I started working out and the fitness component into, well, okay, do I get less sleep or do I work out? What works best? And then I learned this thing about circadian rhythms and all this research and going, oh, right? Everything's energy, and energy is wavelengths. So if we could synchronize our wavelengths with the universe's wavelengths, how invigorating is that, right? Think about it. If you're a person who loves to go camping, right? At first, you might seem tied to your phone. You seem tired the first day, but by the end of it, you feel invigorated and you start to sleep more deeply, more soundly. If you have a comfortable bed, that is, right? Maybe not sleeping on the ground, but you feel better and more in sync. You wake up with the sun, you get tired at night. It's your circadian rhythms linking up. So in the mornings, if you go outside, look at the sun, your eyes have receptacles that tell your brain and body to stop making melatonin. So, okay, just go look at the sun and you know, maybe it's cloudy that day, or, you know, I live here in Wisconsin in winter. It's cloudy most of the days. So, you know what I'll do is I'll go by the window, look out. But even better than that, because the window blocks some of the UV rays, is I'll just go stand outside. All right, I'll just go stand outside 30 seconds and just savor it. And then as I'm doing that, for me, being the Prince of Positivity that I am, I'm like, how beautiful is this? Let's savor the good things, the fact I'm alive again, that I'm here enjoying the sunrise or the sunlight, and I can think of other gratitudes. And it's just a true game changer, and something that has really helped me is to start my day by looking at the sun, whether outside or inside, and that helps sync my circadian rhythms, which then helps me fall into that wavelength of the universe and get better sleep overall.
Interesting. All right. Very cool.
Yeah.
So go out, look at the sun, and try to sync your circadian rhythm up with the universe's rhythm, or the sun, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
The collective chi in African tribes. Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to add to that?
Oh, there's so many things, right? Because it's
We've got about a minute left.
Like I love what Paul shared, right? Watch blue light and the screen time, right? Because that affects your energy and ability.
You're not allowed to talk about other guests yet.
I'm not allowed to talk about other guests. Okay, I'll just talk about me. Well, I'm awesome. You're awesome, and you know what? Everybody here, you are amazing. You are worthy. You are enough, just the way you are. and I'm honored to be here and hopefully just share some love and light with y'all.
All right. Well, since you started it, we'll bring out the other guests and we'll do a round robin here. We got Edward and Paul coming back out. All right. Let's start with Paul. Paul, can you very quickly refresh what your tip was?
My tip was to ditch your phone as quickly and as far away from you as possible before you go to bed at night.
Awesome. Edward, what are your thoughts on that?
You know what? I totally agree. And it's something that I've actually had a bit of a problem with myself lately because of my online business.
Yes.
Well, I'm always operating from my phone. So it's like, I try to be done by like 9 o'clock, and probably about 75% of the time I can make it. But, you know, some nights I work real late and then I get off and then I do some work on my phone again. So it's a work in progress.
We all are. We all are. Well, yeah, maybe connect with Paul and see if he's got some tips on that. Yeah, well, I think everyone's going to have to connect with Paul to get some tips on that. Spencer, what are your thoughts on Paul's tip?
Man, I love that idea of putting your phone away from arm's reach. I started doing that a couple years ago. One for the blue light, so it was out of reach, but then also the Bluetooth and how those waves affect your energy too. So I put it across the room, and that's been a real game changer because now when I set my alarms, it forces me to get out of the warm, cozy bed. As much as I want to yell at Siri or any of the other ones, right, to shut off the alarm, I still force my butt up, and it's been a really, really big help. So I love that tip. Thank you for sharing, Paul.
Phone on the other side of the room. All right. Edward, can you real quick refresh us what your tip was?
Yeah, just totally stay away from alcohol.
Sleep better, no booze. Spencer, thoughts?
Huge, right? Alcohol is technically a poison. It's poisoning your body, and that's affecting your sleep along with many other aspects of your life. So either limit it when you're not sleeping, or as Ed suggested, eliminate it completely. Why are you drinking? What's the purpose of it? Are you numbing something or using it as a crutch for something? Look at it and evaluate to see what that is. And maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's something else, but sticking to Ed's topic of being sober, it's going to be better for you and for the people in your life, and better sleep so you could be at your best.
I would say on that, if you do choose to drink, I don't know if there's any science behind this, but from what I've seen, if you drink, the number of days you can limit it is going to be better. So if you want sleep and you're drinking like 1 to 2 drinks 5 days a week, like after work or whatever, and then drinking it on the weekends with your friends or whatever, it's going to be a lot better if you can eliminate those 1 to 2 and save it all for the weekend. So at least you get 4 or 5 nights of better sleep throughout the week. So that's a little extra tip. Paul, what are your thoughts on alcohol for sleep?
Yeah, 100%. Edward's right. Spencer's right. Alcohol is bad. Just full stop, period. Alcohol is bad for you. And it's almost a double whammy when you're talking about it around sleep, because Edward kind of touched on this before. A lot of people drink because they think they're like, oh, I sleep better when I drink. Mm-hmm. Like I actually need alcohol to sleep. I can't get to sleep. Right, exactly, without having a few drinks. But studies will show, and science has proven this, that the sleep you get is not quality sleep, meaning that the 8 hours of sleep you get after drinking is not as restful as even 5 or 6 hours of sleep when you're not drinking alcohol. So it's this false reality where we think like, okay, like, well, the alcohol is helping me get more sleep, but it's actually doing more harm than good in many ways, but specifically around the rest that you're getting. It's almost like you're actually awake while you're sleeping. So like you're not actually getting that deep sleep, what they call REM sleep. That is what's actually recharging you, resting you, letting your body recover, that we actually need. So if you're thinking like, okay, well, yeah, like I just need the alcohol to get to sleep, or I need it to get better sleep, you're actually working in reverse.
And that also goes with cannabis. I mean, I'm in the cannabis industry, and I know a lot of people that use it for sleep, and it's almost like melatonin as well. Like a lot of people use it to get to sleep if it's hard, but if you're getting reliant on that, cannabis actually does not give you as deep or as consistent of sleep as if you were to do it au natural. So alcohol, cannabis, I guess if you're using anything as a sleep aid and you're depending on it, you're probably not going to be getting as good a sleep as you could without it. Spencer, refresh us your tip, please.
Our bodies are amazing, right? The other two guys shared things to help you at night. Let's do something as you wake up, and that's sync your circadian rhythms and start to sync them up by going out, looking at the sun, looking at the sunrise, and just embracing that beautiful light and starting your day off in a gorgeous way.
All right, Edward, what are your thoughts?
Totally agree. I first heard about that through the Andrew Huberman on his podcast, and while I cannot actually partake in that activity because I work so early in the morning, I still at least like right when I get up, I try to drink like 32 ounces of water. I just turn on my kitchen light real quick and just stare at the light.
Maybe at some point throughout the day, you can just pop outside for 30 seconds and stare at the sun.
Yeah, my day job, I'm usually walking around outside, so it's still good.
Nice.
There you go. And Paul, what are your thoughts on Spencer's tip?
Yeah, I mean, Spencer's a genius. He knocked it out of the park as usual. And just for people listening, it's like, okay, like getting up with the sunrise can seem a little, again, so going back to what I said before about like, if you're getting 5 hours of sleep, don't try to jump to 8. Same thing. If you're waking up at 9 o'clock in the morning and sunrise near you is 6:15, that can seem overwhelming. So realize that it's, yes, getting up with the sun is great to set your circadian rhythm, to get up with the sun and go to sleep when the sun sets. But in general, what we need is to just be getting more sunlight. So much of our life is spent indoors when humans are animals and we're meant to get sunlight on our skin. It creates vitamin D. It sets our circadian rhythm. So just getting outside and getting sun on your skin and sun in your eyes within the first few hours of the day, whenever you wake up, even if the sun is already up, don't think, oh, Spencer said to catch the sunrise and the sun is already up, so I missed my shot. That is not it. It's about getting outside and getting sun on your face and sun on your skin within the first few hours of you waking up in the morning.
I'm so happy you clarified that, Paul. Thank you. And 100%, right? So if you catch the sunrise, great. That's the best. But do it gently with yourself, right? Don't just jump all of a sudden 2-3 hours difference. Work up to that if that works for you and your work schedule in life. But just get outside, look at the sun and get out there, get the vitamin D, get all the extra goodness that you need from the sun. Sunrises are great if you can, but at the very least, get outside, look. So the fact that you work and you're like, okay, I'm going to drink that water, I'm going to go outside, part of your job and look at the light. That's gorgeous. I love it.
Awesome, guys. All right, here comes my favorite part of the whole show. We got to come up with a daily challenge. So this challenge must take less than 5 minutes per day. It must cost $0, and it must be available to anyone from Kathmandu to Sao Paulo, Brazil. What ideas do you have?
Is it a combination of everyone's?
It could be whatever the fuck you want.
Nice.
Does it have to do? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's super simple. Again, it goes to what I was saying. You could combine all three, but Edward's no drinking, but also just like put down your phone and pick up a book, right? Like put your phone on the other side of the room and read 5 pages of a book. I bet you'll sleep much better and much faster.
Okay, I like that. Thoughts, Edward?
Yeah. Whenever I actually sit down to read, I actually end up dozing off. So I took 100%.
All right, Spencer, thoughts?
I love that challenge because it forces you to put your phone down. If you're not reading an ebook, get a paper book, read that, right? That much better for you. So yeah, I'm going to say, go with that one. Let's put down the phone, pick up a book, a paperback of some type, and read whatever you want to read, but get some reading in and be fulfilled. I love it.
Does everyone here own a paper book?
Yep.
All right, good. Hey, I think that's a great one. I love reading before bed. My problem is that a lot of times when I read, it spurs things for blogs and content and shit. So then I have to pull out my laptop. But yeah, let's do that. Let's put the phone on the other side of the room and read a real book before going to bed. This is gonna be kind of hard to like prove. I guess we can just take like a quick picture with a book in our hand before we go to bed and post that and then it's on our system at that point. Cool. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, guys. Any last remarks before we sign off now that we've completed the challenge in the whole episode?
No, except thank you so much. I appreciate you and appreciate everybody here. You guys are awesome.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Same
Thanks for coming out so much. I'll put you all backstage. Awesome. Well, that concludes another episode of Millionaires Are Made. Today, we went on physical health and sleep. We learned that caffeine blocks your thyroid receptors. We learned alcohol affects your circadian rhythm and is not good for sleep. We learned that even just having your phone close to you with its Bluetooth waves and its blue light is bad for you. And we learned that just letting that sun hit your face and connecting the Earth's waves with your circadian rhythm waves is actually really good for you and can help you sleep. So our daily challenge is put your phone on the other side of the room when you go to sleep and read